I've been living in Atlanta for around a year and a half. It's been an interesting part of my life, many ups and downs. Living in a place like this taught me things that I'm not sure I would have realized so easily elsewhere. I always knew being here was a temporary experiment, and now the time has come to end this chapter. The number one thing that was even surprising to me is that I'm not as much of a city person as I thought. When I was a kid, growing up in the middle of nowhere, I always wanted to live in a big city, and now I've lived in 4 major ones. Some of these I absolutely loved, and some not so much. And this most recent one made me realize I don't think I would move to another city in the US at least. With maybe a few exceptions, the cities here don't give me what I'm looking for. My best experiences with cities have been outside the US, both living and visiting. In this country, my favorite things are usually found in smaller towns and the outdoors. After living in a really small town for 3 years, coming to a place like Atlanta didn't resonate with me in the way I thought it might. Part of the problem was my expectations. I thought that coming to this city would bring less reliance on cars and more fulfillment in my work life, but that wasn't the case. I found myself feeling stuck quite often, longing for days of being able to walk outside into the woods rather than a parking lot. I learned what inspires me and what doesn't. Every time we take a trip out of the city, I feel so good, so at peace, so invigorated. And part of this is just the nature of being in a different environment, but a lot of it is being among natural beauty. And I think the importance of living somewhere you find inspiring and beautiful can often be overlooked as superficial or silly. And I don't think this is the case. We all like having a nice looking apartment, decorations, plants. They make us feel good. I'm a visual person. My job is visual. Everything I do is visual. And when I'm in a visually stimulating environment, I feel like myself. And in the past year, these places that I've found this inspiration and connection with have been elsewhere. I've been turning to nature as an inspiration. Maybe part of this is being so removed from it in the city and not finding that inspiration from the city itself as I have in other places. You know that feeling when you go somewhere new and you just feel at peace and you feel some sort of connection? That's not how I feel here. I think back to trips we took this year to places like Mexico City, and I really felt like this there. There's so much going on, so much life. When I'm here, I find that same feeling when I'm outside, camping, exploring, hiking, and shooting. Living in a city surrounded by people in my industry made me realize how much I value creative freedom. YouTube being a perfect example of this. These videos are my ideas, my thoughts, and there's no client or agency that gets in the way of what I want to say. And now, more than ever, I realize the true power in this. And I've learned that for me to have a fulfilling career, I need a balance between doing work for others and doing videos for myself. I'm a long way away from making that a reality, but now it's a tangible goal more than it ever has been before. A big part of this realization has been the idea of freedom, the freedom to move around and have new experiences. I feel secure with what I want in the future and what I think the best path is in order to get to that place. I learned that it sometimes takes being in a bad situation to realize these things. I think this also speaks to the concept of seasons in life. This is how I'm feeling right now. In the past, I've made declarative statements about how I feel in that moment and almost let those dictate how I feel moving forward. I'm quite stubborn by nature, and so sometimes I have to step back and realize that just because I believe something once doesn't mean I need to forever. These decisions and ideas don't have to define you. I've learned that it's good to adapt with the current situation and let, these different chapters dictate what you do. I learned that I really appreciate the simple things: good food, family, and connections with friends. I've always felt pretty in tune with my intuition, but over the past few years, there have been times that I've ignored it or fought against it. I've made big decisions that were against my better judgment for one reason or another. I think sometimes you won't want to do something and it's fear holding you back, not a true gut feeling. Every big decision that I've made that I truly feel content with, despite the risk, has been a good one. And every decision that I've made where I fight that feeling has been a bad one. I've learned that some lessons just have to be learned the hard way, and for me, this was one of them. I recently made a big decision that sits perfectly well with me, and it feels incredible.